In today's video, I'm going to show you how I turned this stool that was headed for the trash into this. Let's get started. So a friend gave me this stool. It was actually supposed to be for a different project, my 3-bar stool makeover, but it wasn't the right height. So instead of giving it back to her, which if I did, she said she was just going to throw it away, I decided to keep it and I told her I had a different idea for it. So as you can see, it was in pretty rough shape. Her puppy had chewed up one of the rungs and the seat was loose and starting to come off. So the first thing I did was take wood filler and fill the spot where the puppy had chewed and let it dry overnight. The next day I sanded it down until it was smooth. And here's what it looked like after. Next, I removed the seat with a pry bar and all the nails that had originally been holding it on. Next, I took some more wood filler and filled in some damaged areas around the holes where the legs were attached. This wasn't damage that occurred when I took off the top, it could have been from a previous repair. And then sanded it down to the bare wood using an orbital sander. Next, I gave the legs a light sanding with some 220 grit sandpaper. I didn't need to sand down to the bare wood because this was going to be painted. Next, I vacuumed off all the sanding dust. You can also use a damp cloth or a tack cloth. I did actually wipe this down with a damp cloth after I vacuumed it, but I didn't get video of it. Next, it was time to reattach the seat. I used wood glue and clamps and let it dry overnight. The next day, it was time to stain the seat. But before I did that, I wet it down with a cloth and let it dry completely. This is a technique my husband showed me and referred to it as water popping. It opens up the wood grain so that when you apply the stain, it goes on more evenly. He refinishes wood floors for a living, so he knows all about this. And this is what it looked like after applying 2 coats of Varathane Premium Fast Dry Wood Stain in antique white. I also stained the bottom of the seat as well. After the seat was completely dry, I covered it with newspaper and took it outside to paint. I used this Rust-Oleum Chalk Ultra Matte paint in Coastal Blue. I applied several coats, turning the stool upside down and right side up in between each coat to make sure I had full coverage. After letting the stool dry completely, I applied Rust-Oleum's Ultra Cover in Matte Clear. I did the same thing with this, applying several coats, turning the stool upside down and right side up in between each coat to make sure I had full coverage. And that's it. Here's what the stool looked like before. And here's what it looked like after. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe.